welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most exciting stories in the world of cameras right now. If you've been following the photography and videography space closely, you already know September is going to be huge. Canon, Nikon, Leica, Sigma, Sony, all the big players, are preparing announcements that could reshape the market. But the biggest buzz of them all centers around Canon. And more specifically, the Canon EOS R6 Mark III. This isn't just another upgrade. It's shaping up to be one of Canon's most important launches in years. With rumors, leaks, and insider tips flooding in, photographers and filmmakers are on edge waiting for the official reveal. So, in this first half of our deep dive, we're going to focus entirely on the Canon R6 Mark III. We'll unpack everything we know so far. The specs, the expected features, the design decisions, and why this camera could strike the perfect balance between power and practicality. Let's start at the beginning. The Canon R6 Mark II was already a big success. It gave hybrid shooters a fantastic mix of image quality, performance, and reliability. It wasn't the most expensive body, but it delivered pro-level results for people who didn't want to pay flagship prices. That's why the R6 line became so popular. It attracted wedding photographers, sports shooters, wildlife enthusiasts, and videographers who wanted a camera that could really do it all. Now, Canon is about to refresh that formula with the Mark III. And according to reports, it could land on or just before September 15th. That means we're only days away from seeing the next chapter in Canon's mirrorless story. So, what exactly is changing? Let's break it down step by step. The first major headline is the sensor. Leaks suggest the Canon R6 Mark III will feature a non-stacked full-frame sensor, somewhere between 30 and 33 megapixels. Now, some people may hear that and think, wait, isn't that a little underwhelming compared to some competitors pushing 45 or even 61 megapixels? But here's where it gets interesting. That megapixel range is actually a sweet spot. Why? Because 30 megapixels strikes a balance. You get more detail than the 20 or 24 megapixel cameras, but without the massive file sizes and processing demands of 45 plus. That means better low-light performance, faster workflows, and still plenty of resolution for large prints or heavy cropping. Canon seems to be making a smart choice here, prioritize usability and image quality over sheer megapixel bragging rights. But that's not all. Autofocus is another area where Canon is expected to deliver major improvements. The R6 Mark II already had a strong autofocus system, but the Mark III could take it even further. We're hearing about refinements to Canon's dual-pixel AF2 system, with more accurate subject detection, faster response, and smarter AI tracking. For anyone shooting action, wildlife, or fast-moving subjects, that could be a game-changer. Imagine being able to lock on to a bird in flight, a football player mid-tackle, or a dancer on stage, and the camera just keeps nailing focus every time. That's the kind of performance professionals expect, and Canon seems ready to step up. Now let's talk about speed. The Mark III is rumored to offer continuous shooting speeds of 20 to 30 frames per second. That's incredibly fast, especially for a non-stacked sensor. It won't quite match the stacked sensors in Canon's own R3 or Sony's Alpha 1, but it doesn't need to. For most shooters, 20 frames per second is already more than enough to capture the perfect moment. Pair that with deep buffer performance, and you're looking at a camera that can handle sports, wildlife, and action with ease. Video shooters also have a lot to look forward to. The R6 Mark III is expected to support 6K oversampled video down to 4K, with strong dynamic range and Canon's signature color science. What it won't have is 8K. And honestly, that's not a surprise. Canon will likely reserve 8K for its higher-end models, like the R5 or R5 Mark II. Instead, the R6 Mark III will focus on delivering reliable, high-quality 4K footage with less overheating risk and more manageable file sizes. For most creators, that's exactly what matters. Smooth, sharp, cinematic 4K that won't crash your editing workflow. Now let's touch on design. Early reports suggest the body will be very similar to the R6 Mark II. No top LCD, which might disappoint some, but Canon is likely keeping that feature exclusive to higher-end models. Instead, we could see a more advanced rear screen, giving shooters flexibility in framing and reviewing shots. The ergonomics will probably stay familiar, which is actually a good thing. Canon cameras are known for their comfortable grip and intuitive controls. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. One detail that could change is the battery. There's talk of Canon introducing a new battery type, possibly shared with other recent models like the R5 Mark II. If true, that could mean better endurance, which is always welcome. More shots per charge, more recording time, less worry in the field. All of this points to a camera that isn't trying to be the absolute fastest or flashiest. Instead, it's aiming to be the most versatile and cost-effective option for serious shooters. A workhorse camera that you can trust in almost any situation. That's exactly why the R6 series has been so popular, and why the Mark III could become a favorite among professionals and enthusiasts alike. But here's something interesting to think about. By not going with a stacked sensor, Canon is keeping the price more accessible. That could be a deliberate strategy. Because let's face it, not everyone can afford a $6,000 flagship camera. But if Canon can deliver 80% of that performance at half the cost, that's a huge win for the market. It opens the door for more creators to step up their gear without breaking the bank. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Remember, September is packed with announcements. Nikon has the ZR on the way, Leica has the M11V, Sigma is about to drop new lenses, and Sony has its A7V coming later this year. Canon knows it's entering a crowded stage. But by striking the right balance of features, performance, and price, the R6 Mark III could still steal the spotlight. So in this first section, we've unpacked everything we know about the Canon R6 Mark III, the sensor, the autofocus, the speed, the video capabilities, the design, and the strategy behind it. In the second section, we'll step back and look at the bigger picture, what all these September launches mean for the camera industry, how Canon's choices compare with competitors, and where the market is heading next. For now, though, one thing is clear. The Canon R6 Mark III isn't just another update. It's shaping up to be a 30-megapixel monster that balances power with practicality. A camera designed not just for specs on paper, but for real creators out in the field.